Okay, now we're going to go to a little program where we're going to review some of the things that we have learned. It's another good example. And here we calculate the probability of winning a mini lottery. Now the numbers that we're going to be using is up to 12 balls, and the numbers that you have to pick is up to 5. And this program works with functions. Over here, in addition to main, we have 3 functions. And if we look at the first function, we see that it's get lottery info, and we send it 2 pieces of information, which is the number of balls and the number of numbers that you have to pick. And we do this as reference variables, so we don't have to return anything. And since we want 2 numbers and functions can only return one thing by value, if you have a regular function, then you would have to do a return statement. So over here the use of reference variables is totally correct. Over here you don't have to send more than 2 pieces of information back, so you only want to have the total number of ways that the balls can fall. Over here it's defined as a long integer because these numbers can be quite large, those probabilities. And over here you just send it the number of balls again and the number of numbers that you have to pick. And then over here we also have a function called factorial that we send an integer, and we'll look at that a little bit more later on. Okay, so we work with the numbers to pick from and how many we have to pick, and we calculate how many ways. We tell the user that will tell you the probability of winning the little lotto. Because of the way that this is calculated, we're not going to be able to use actual real values. This only works with up to 12 balls. When I try to calculate it with 70 balls, which is kind of the current standard, it just wouldn't work because the computer would run out of memory space. That also tells you that there are so many ways that you can have different combinations of balls in the lotto. It's really a bad idea to play it. But let's not digress and go on to the program. So over here we just get the lottery info, the balls to pick from and how many we have to pick. And then we send it to compute the total number of ways where you can get different combinations. Over here setting the precision of the results, and it only has 4 decimals in combination with fixed. I think I'm going to set this at 10. And then it will tell you the chance of winning the lottery is 1 chance in this many, and then the actual probability by dividing 1.0 with the number of ways. Now if you would do this as 1 and divide by ways is an integer over here, and you would just get a big fat 0. Let's run it so you can see what that's like. Over here the 10. So we're going to take the total number of balls at 12, the maximum, and we're going to say that you have to pick 5 numbers to win. So you see that it's 1 in 792, which is kind of a small percent over here. In fact, let's change this a little bit, and we'll multiply this with 100 again, and then over here we'll do this as %. So let's do this again. I think it makes it a little bit more realistic even. So 12 balls and you have to pick 5. So less than 1%. If we take 12 balls and you have to pick 7, yeah, that's about the same. And if we run 12 balls and you have to pick all 12, you have a 100% chance. So that's nice. Okay, it also tells you that that this works. Okay, so anyway, now that we've changed the output a little bit, let's look at get lottery info. Notice again that we send things by reference, and that's because we want to have 2 pieces of information, the number of balls to pick from and how many balls to pick. Over here we see the input, and then we do some input checking, and it will not let you pass until you have something between 1 and 12. If it's less than 1, not going to work. More than 12, it's not going to work either. So it will keep asking until you enter that number from 1 to 12. How many numbers do you have to play with? Well, of course it's limited by the numbers that you have to pick from. If you pick more balls than you actually have, that doesn't make any sense. And you also cannot say that you can pick 0, which is less than 1. So if you don't go from 1 to the total number, which we used with 12 at the moment, then you're going to just be asked again. You must pick at least one number. If you pick less than 1, and let's do what we have been doing and make sure that it has its own little code segment. Under the else, same thing, and it will tell us how many we have to pick from. So over here we have an if else, and over here we have the input checking. Then we're going to compute the number of ways. And what you see over here is that we declare the number of ways that we want to return. This is a function that does send something back, and notice that there are 2 parameters that are passing by value. They're not passing by reference because we don't see the little ampersand over here. And this formula over here, we're not going to worry about. Now, if you want to use factorials in this program, it's actually a call to another function, and that factorial function is defined over here. And we're not going to worry about how it's calculated now, but notice that we get one number that goes in and we send it back a long integer, and over here this is the calculation. This is where we return the factorial total. So if we collapse this and this, and we get lottery info, and we can actually collapse this too. Just notice that this is a very well structured little program, and it's a good example of some of the things that we have been working with.